Should I be over there or over here? Is this fine? All right. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. 10 minutes is not enough
What you got?
to talk about what God has done in my life. I look at my life now and think about what it used to be, and I think, who was I? I mean, it'd be quicker and easier to talk about what hasn't changed, really, because everything has changed. I was, I'll talk about the former first, obviously. I was adopted, which I always saw as a blessing. And despite my family's efforts to always treat me like one of their own, I was loved the same as the other kids. I was disciplined the same as the other kids. I mean, they did not treat me different. But I still had a little bit of a root feeling of abandonment. You know, did my birth mother want me at all? I mean, was it hard for her to give me up? Was it easy? You know, I didn't know. I was adopted when I was 3 days old. When I was probably around 6 or 7, I was molested, and that did a number on me. That's probably one of the biggest changes that my life has seen, because for approximately 30 years, not only did I not talk about it to anyone, I couldn't name it, even in my own thoughts. It was just that thing that happened, but I'm okay. Didn't even faze me. Look at me now, I'm fine. I was more like the woman at the well. You described her life as a wreck or a train wreck. That was me. That was me. Everything I did to try to make my life better resulted in a mess. And then I'd try to clean up the mess, and I would make 3 more messes. It was just awful. It was awful. I honestly don't know how I survived, honestly, without the relationship that I have now with him. He broke through to me in the Bible reading. I had tried to read the Bible a few times, and just, it might as well have been written in Japanese. I didn't understand a word of it. I have a bachelor's degree in English, and the Bible was just right over my head. I could not get it. When I separated from my first husband, and that was such a toxic relationship. He was a raging alcoholic. I was on the path to being a raging alcoholic myself, but prevenient grace, God blessed me with migraines, and alcohol triggered the migraines. So that made it really easy to stop. When it feels like someone's hitting you in the head with a hammer halfway through a glass of wine or a beer, makes it real easy to put it down. But I had other addictions, and those were triggered by the being adopted, not knowing my roots. I felt like there was just a gap in my own personal history and myself, really. In the being molested, felt victimized. I had a total victim mentality. Anytime somebody did or said anything, I either went overboard because I needed to vindicate myself, or I went deer in the headlights, like just total cower down. That was my coping mechanism. And then I carried a lot of guilt over my grandfather's death. He was the most influential person in my life growing up, and he had a heart attack when he read my letter telling him that I was pregnant at the age of 16. And so, big guilt there. When I hit what I call my rock bottom, I was just newly separated from my first husband, and I didn't know that what I was seeking was Jesus. I just remembered, I was raised Catholic, and I remembered when I was at Mass as a kid, I felt peace. There was a peace I felt in the church. And I wanted some peace more than anything else, because I missed it. I didn't even know what it felt like anymore. That's what drew me back to church. It didn't take long for God to put it on my heart, and I didn't know it was Him directing me, but it was Him directing me. I wasn't supposed to be in the Catholic Church. I was supposed to be in this other church, which is where I ended up learning, oh, that's what people are talking about when they talk about that relationship with Christ. So I started going to this other church, and man, he just started talking to me. I picked up the Bible. This time I actually prayed before I tried to read it, and lo and behold, I'm getting it. He's talking to me. And yeah, some of it's painful, because I did some stuff, and all that pain that I was carrying, there was a lot of anger I was carrying. I did stuff. I got some skeletons in the closet. And he started pulling them out one by one, and not in a shameful, condemning kind of way, but just in a teaching, loving, correcting kind of way. And I will never forget the first time I hit a verse, and it just felt like God was just cradling my face in his hands and just talking it right to me. Like I knew he was speaking it right to me. And it was in Leviticus of all places. But it was Leviticus 20:26. It said, "You are to be holy, for I am holy." And that stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, God, you're commanding me to be something I can't be. You're holy. I can't be. I didn't know what holy meant. I know now. It means separated to God. But the rest of the verse says, "For I have separated you from the peoples, that you should be mine." I felt alone so much of the time, even though I knew I wasn't. I had people that loved me and cared for me and were there for me, but I kept them here because of all the pain and the anger and all that I was carrying around. But when I read that verse, God told me, yeah, you're adopted. You're adopted by me. So a lot of times when I give testimony, I'll start it with, I was adopted twice. Once when I was 3 days old, once before I was even put in my mother's womb, So that was the before picture. It was just a very, very dark life. There were good things in there. And I know he was in there. I look back and I can see places where he was obviously there. But now, talk about just, total transformation. I can say the name Jesus. I love to talk about my Jesus. And before, I felt very uncomfortable saying the name. I didn't feel like I was worthy of saying the name. And not that I'm worthy now. I'm still a work in progress. But married to a pastor? What? Yeah, that woman at the well story I can really relate to, because I used to use relationships as my crutch. That was my vice. That was my refuge. It made me feel like I was worth something if a guy was giving me attention. Such a backwards way of thinking. And yeah, I could spend all day talking about that, and the wrongness in that. But now I'm married to a pastor. We're building a ministry reaching out to the addicted. And if I get teared up now when I talk about the stuff that I've overcome, that he's healed me from, it's because I'm thankful. It's not because it hurts. It doesn't hurt anymore. Amen. That wound, that big gaping wound that was in my very soul, it's healed. It's a scar. It's still there. I see it. I know it's there. It's not ever going to go away. I don't want it to. It brought me here. It brought me right here. It brought me to him, my husband. I'm able now to tell women, I go into the jails. What? Never would have believed that 10 years ago. I go into the jails and I talk to women, hey, let me tell you what happened to me. And let me tell you why that's not going to destroy me. I'm not giving one more day of my life over to it because I got him. He's got me. It's just, I'm not the same person. My life is not the same. There's nothing about it that's the same except I can't even say my hair color because I got the grays coming in, but my eye color, that's the same. That's about it. He's done a total transformation in my life, and I just, like Chuck said, we both stepped down from our jobs. He died for me. I'm going to live every day of my life doing everything I can to serve him, and I want others, especially women who've been through some stuff. I don't want them leaving this earth without knowing that he loves them and that he's for them, and he can heal anything. Anything. He's never going to let us go through something that he's not able to heal us from. So that's what I'm thankful for. Thank you.